Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Twem and today I'm going to talk with Lorraine Lopez, a professional comedian. Now I'm waiting for her to join the chat so that we can start our conversation together. Let me check who is in the room. I say hi to everyone, welcome. Now Lorraine will join us very soon. Welcome everyone, привет. So how's everything with you guys before Lorraine will join us? Hi everyone. Thank you for your comments. So let's wait a minute. So yes, Lauren is here. Let me invite her over. Yes, I have sent the request. Hey, Lauren.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. What about you?
I'm good, thank you.
Are
Thanks
you
for having
in
me on.
Elena? Pardon?
I said thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks a lot for joining us today.
Yes,
So
of
you're
course.
in LA now, right?
Yes.
How is
In Los
everything there?
Angeles. It's gets a little weird. It's getting back to normal a little bit.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So have you got your vaccination yet?
No, I have not. Have you?
No, unfortunately, no. But why you didn't have so far?
Well, as of right now, I guess there's like tiers of like when you can get it. So I think that I'm pretty in an age and I'm healthy, so I'm not like up to that level yet. So
I see.
yeah.
And people in the comment are saying that you have a wonderful hair, Lorraine.
Oh, thank you. I just cut it. Yes.
And Lauren, would you please briefly tell us about yourself? I have series of questions ready for you, but just in case.
Okay. Yes, I live in Los Angeles. I been doing stand up and some acting and writing. So this past year though it's been slow. There's not been a lot of stand up, but it's starting to pick up. So I have my first show in a week. So I'm really excited about that. So
Oh, that's good. What is it about?
well, it's a stand up show. So a live stand up show and it's outdoors. So it's very like compliant to
Oh,
COVID.
finally, it's
So
open.
yes, because there's been hardly no shows at all. It's been completely California and Los Angeles has been super super strict. So
So will it be in Laugh Factory or in other places?
no, because all it's going to be in an outdoor venue. So it's kind of like this. They do like pop up shows. So you don't really know the address yet. You get the information, and they have it outdoors, a stage. Everyone's like kind of like separated far apart from each other. But they've been doing a lot of drive through shows, like in your car and like those type of things. So it's going to be kind of like that.
Oh, I see. I thought those places like Laugh Factory finally restarted. So as you're saying, we should wait more.
Yes. I mean, some of those are like they are doing shows. Like I know like in the outside patio, they've been doing shows, but this will be my first in like 6 months.
Oh,
So,
but that's very good that you will start it again. And I know that you have your own podcast. Would you like to talk about it? That what is it about?
yes, well I interview my favorite comedians about their love life and how it affects their comedy. So, but I'm actually doing a season 2 and I'm going to like branch out to all types of people. So, not just about comedy, but just about love and passion and that kind of stuff, you know.
So Lauren Lopez doesn't only love comedians, we can say.
No,
This is
I
a
love
new title.
everyone. Yes.
So is there any guest that you really love to have on your podcast? This is your dream to have him or her on your podcast.
You know, I don't know. because I've been trying. I haven't started the second season yet, but I think that I like love food so much. I love so many different things that I don't want it to be like. It could be like a chef, or it could be a dance. It could be anything like what you do. So it's just kind of branches out and things that like in the moment what I have discovered. What did I discover this week? Like who do I, I found this really cool person and I want to like learn and to show them, share them with everyone. So
Exactly, that's a good idea. When I started it, I was thinking the same thing, that if I just mention about the specific target, then I can lose communicating with many people.
yeah.
And this is interesting that every week we can have new guests from different genres, and it never gets old. And we always have guests, potential guests for that. Because if I want to, for example, focus on only metal music, after, for example, a few months, I can cover everyone, and that's all. Then again, we should repeat from the beginning. So
Definitely.
you're doing the good thing in the second season for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be fun.
What do you think about your first season of your podcast?
I loved it. I didn't know what to expect, and I kind of just did it. I don't know, like I had a couple people mention it, and like a lot of people doing podcasts, and I'm like, well, I don't know what I would talk about, and I just jumped in it, and I learned so much. I made so many connections and met cool people, and I mean, a lot of people I knew, but I didn't like. I knew kind of superficially, like if I did a stand-up show with this person, I saw them here and there, I didn't know them, and it was a great way to like really talk one-on-one, and it was great. I mean, it was something that I was shocked by how excited I loved it. I loved it so much. So
And is there something that you wouldn't do in the season two, that you would say I did it in season one, but I regret it?
no, not really.
Not
Not
really. That's
really. But I am curious because I know like podcasts, people edit theirs a lot of the times, and I never did. So I would always just say, hey, whatever you say, like, I mean, it's just like this live, right? So if you have like a code, like I had this thing where you have to, because we were sitting next to each other, and I would just like tap the table if you want me to stop this part of the conversation and switch it. So this time I'm going to do it from my apartment. So now it's not going to be next to each other because of COVID, and it's weird. I feel like people are doing it at their place now. So I have the whole podcast system now at my apartment. So I'm going to start doing it like that. So that's going to be a different transition for me. So should be
Oh,
it.
that's good. So you will have more guests, even because of that, from around the world, maybe.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I wanted to also ask you, when did you decide that you want to be a professional comedian?
It's weird because I've lived in LA for so long, and I started off acting, and I never thought I would ever, comedy wasn't even on my mind. Like I loved watching comedy. I was obsessed with improv, and I liked kind of like just funny movies and funny stuff like that, but I never saw myself doing it. And I think maybe this was like probably 7 years ago, my friend, Betsy Cox, she was like, hey, you should do stand-up. And I'm like, me? Because actually, I'm very serious in person. I'm like kind of an observer. So I'm not like an actual, like, I'm silly with my friends and stuff, but in public, I'm just very like, hi, I'm Lorraine. So for her to say that, I was shocked. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it just for fun. And I did it for like maybe 2 weeks, and I thought it was so amazing, but I didn't have a story to tell. Like I didn't feel like everyone else was doing stand-up like 5 times a night and just so in it, and I wasn't doing that. I didn't have that drive, and I didn't have anything to talk about. So, and then so let's just say cut to 5 years later, I have a lot to talk about. A lot of stuff was happening to me, and it was always like really, things were just not going well for me, like in every possible way, dating and just life. And I just felt like this is some type of joke, right? Like why this is, but I could laugh about it. So I was never like, I mean, I was sad, but I was always thinking, wow, this is really funny, actually. And I would tell my friends and I would laugh about it. And for me, it kind of became a way of like healing, and also like expressing myself, because I would hold it in. I would, have problems and I wouldn't tell anyone. And all of a sudden I would go on stage and I'd be like, oh, this is a fun way to laugh about it, and also, relate with other people. People can watch this and they could tell me after the show, like, oh my gosh, that happened to me. And that's so funny. And so I enjoyed that. And ever since then, it's been so much fun, and there's nothing that I enjoy more. So.
And Betsy is that friend that you have invited twice in your season 1, right?
Yes, Betsy Cox.
Yeah, she was very funny. Also, it was interesting episode. But you ended up talking about bugs. It was meant to be, or I don't know, it just happened.
No, I don't think we were ever intentionally going to talk about that, but it just came up. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't even know how we got into that.
Yeah, but what was the name of that bug? Silverfish?
Gosh, silverfish. Yes,
Yes,
yes. Yes. I don't have any more silverfish, by the way.
Oh, good to know.
No.
And what was the worst heckle you ever had?
Heckle?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You have so many of them, apparently.
I have so many. The worst one, but ended up being one of my favorite experiences doing stand-up, was I did this show and I was really, really, really new. Probably a month doing stand-up, 2 months doing stand-up. I don't remember. But I usually, in my normal life before stand-up, I would always dress up in high heels that were 4 inches and mini skirts and just very dressy. And that was my style. It still is. But stand up, when you do these shows, they're always telling you hey, you just dress it down, wear pants, wear a t-shirt, you don't want. And I just, in the beginning, was like, what? I don't want to be me. I'm not going to change who I am. So one time I was doing the show, and this is pretty crazy, but the girl she was hosting the show, it was a picture of her in a thong. And I was like, this is crazy. This is what? I've never seen anything like this. So I was like, oh, I'm going to dress up then, So I went and I dressed up in a red dress that was just very sexy, and some heels and a ponytail and big hoop earrings. And it was in this place that wasn't a comedy club. It was in Orange County, and it was this big, huge warehouse, ginormous, where there was rooms with pool tables, and there was another room of just couches, and the bar was it was so huge. It wasn't meant for stand-up, okay? And it was a big, huge stage, and I just remember being walking up excited, and as soon as my foot hit the floor on that stage, people were going, go home.
Oh my
God.
How did you perform after that?
Well, luckily I did have a couple drinks of tequila. So,
you had very high self-confidence at that moment.
Yeah, you do. You get a little, because usually I'm reserved, and I'm always the person that if something happens to me, I don't know what to say, and I'm uncomfortable, and then I will come back 2 days later, oh, that would have been the best thing to do in that situation. So with the tequila, I think being Latin, it's just in my blood. So just I don't know how it affected me, but I went on stage and I was just talking to people, and I was what? And these 2 girls in the front were whatever, bitch, whatever, screaming at me. As I said, every little line I said, they were, coming at me. And for whatever reason, I just held it together, and it actually made it so fun because it was the first time I was interacting. So instead of just doing my thing, because I also was so new, that I was talking to this guy was yelling at me, and I was like, yeah, what do you need to do? And it ended up being so good, and I felt I don't know, I was surprised myself, actually. But it ended up not being that bad, and it made me feel more confident, okay, next time I'm going to tone it down a little bit. This outfit was too much. I understand that was not the right situation, and I've learned from that. Also learned that in stand-up especially, you go to different shows all over. So you are going to the middle of nowhere in a little bar. You also have to be safe. So I understand that, and you could still be yourself, but you know, I do see why people would tell me that. But it ended up being amazing. It was a great show. So
I see. I really have high respect for stand-up comedians because that's not easy for sure, even for people who are funny. Because people, audience, they expect you to be funny. And
mm-hmm.
of course, it's not possible to be funny for all the people there.
Yes, very true.
So I really have high respect for those who perform like you. And it's very hard, for example, someone just heckle and you continue your show like, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, well, that one I recovered, but there's been some where I'm like, whoo, this is I cannot come back from. But it's definitely an exercise, and also reading your audience, because you can have certain jokes that you do that are really that you like to do, but sometimes you're like, this room is not going, this isn't for them. Like they're too young, they're too old, they're you know, it's not the right situation. So that is important too. That I've learned. So
Yes, exactly. So for how many years did it pass so that you found out your character on the stage as a stand-up comedian?
well, you know, I still feel like I'm figuring it out, to be honest, because you know, this past year, I didn't do any stand up really. I did maybe, I told you, one show. So that's been really hard to go from like doing it constantly to nothing. So even now, in that 1 year, I feel like I have changed so much. So even what I want to talk about is not going to be the same stuff that I did talk about, or maybe what I was doing wasn't working for me. So now I'm like, I feel more like this is, so I'm still I think it's always a constant, you're always changing. So you're always, you know, growing as with what was happening in your life, you know. So now pandemic, chopped my hair, I adopted 2 cats.
But it fits you. It totally fits you. And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, what have you been doing since Corona happened, and how did you keep yourself
Whew.
updated during this long pause?
It's been pretty tough. I think it's been harder than I imagined it would be for myself, because I think every aspect of my life kind of just shut down. And even the podcast, I took a break from it, and
Yeah, since 10 months ago.
yes, it's been a while. So I
Yeah.
kind of took a break from everything, and I was kind of having some issues at home that I was kind of like unexpected, and
Silverfish, for example.
the silverfish, yes. Yes. But I feel like now I've kind of overcome a lot of stuff that I was going through, and now I'm just like ready to get back. So I'm excited.
That's great. And I wanted to also ask you, do you know any Persian comedians? Because I saw some of them in your following list.
You know what? I can't say exactly. Do you remember their names?
Yes, for example, Max Amini, Tehran, Amir K, K1.
There's a
And
lot.
I know that you follow Max Amini for sure.
Yes, I feel like it's so crazy because I think I follow so many people, and you come across so many people doing shows that I do know, I recognize the names, yes, but I don't know any of them personally.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you met them in Laugh Factory, or it was randomly in different shows?
You know, I don't even know.
You don't even remember.
I don't remember. It's been because there's so many comedians, and there's so many people like on Instagram, like it just becomes a little overwhelming to remember every
Yes, that's
person,
right.
how I met each person, or how we know each other. So
Yes, that's true. And also, I checked on your IMDb and I understood that you've played as an actress in, for example, movies, short movies, and TV series. Would you like to talk about it? Like, for example, what was your role in the Skylar?
oh, the Skylar feature. I was the best friend of the main character. So it was this movie about like, it was like LA based, and she kind of goes through this. It was like a very serious movie. So it was kind of like a whole like rape. That's the funny part, is from, you know, going from like a lot of acting that I was doing to comedy. I mean, that was like a fun movie, but it was also like serious situations, and I was the friend of the girl who, you know, there was like a rape situation. It wasn't, it was just more of a serious movie, but
Yeah,
it
I
was a
was
long time
surprised
ago.
that the genre was romance and also crime, and which was
Yes,
far from comedy.
exactly, exactly. I still think like my acting, I'm sometimes better at drama, weirdly. So,
Yeah. And what about that TV series, The Snapped?
oh yes, that's an actual like docu-series where it's like women who kill their husbands usually. Have you ever heard of those, watched those
No,
shows?
no.
Yeah. So basically it's a lot of reenactments and stuff. So you're reenacting like actual scenes of like murders and stories. So we would go to like houses in the middle of nowhere and do these creepy like death scenes and blood everywhere and like death, like it was, that was a
Yeah,
fun show.
so is it true that when you play a role, then other producers or directors or casting crew generally, they are thinking about you as the same role or similar ones? For example, you appeared in one crime genre, then and they think, okay, maybe you are good for another one which is similar.
Yes, like a lot of maybe like typecasting. Yeah, like a horror film, and you're like, oh, she does horror films. She's so good at. Yeah,
Exactly. I
that
think that's
definitely
what
happens.
happens to you.
That definitely happens. I think for me in acting, I was always playing like the girl next door, the best friend, the nice, you know. So you definitely do get stuck in those types of roles for sure. And I think
Yes.
that's why I love stand up, because it kind of took me out of that. You know, you get to create your own dialogue. You're writing everything. Everything that you're presenting is you. So you could be anyone. You don't have to be what people think you are. So
Yeah, that was a
it's
good
fun.
choice. And is there any movie genre that you wouldn't consider as an actress?
Um, Not really. I'm pretty open to everything. I
That's
do
good.
feel like I'm a scaredy cat, so you know, horror films are scary. I would still do it, but I'm not like, I definitely feel for me, I would love to do funny comedy versus that, but I'm definitely open to everything. Because you never
And
know. I don't think I've ever done anything like that. So,
yes, well, what about writing or producing something? Do you think about such things?
oh yeah, I've been writing a lot. I've done like, I have a feature that I'm trying to pitch right now, and I have like a sitcom. So
Oh, that's cool.
definitely always writing. I think that's so important, and that's the fun part of, you know, you get to do everything. You're not just, you don't have to just be this one thing. You can, you know, dabble in everything, and I think it's important to do that.
That's cool. And as for writing, I really want to give horror genre a shot. That's the only genre I never touched as a writer.
Oh yeah,
So,
what would you want to write? Like what kind of?
I usually wrote science fiction and even comedy,
Oh
but
nice.
there are short novels. And I really looking for producers who are interested to convert it to movie scripts. And that
Very
would be
cool.
kind of my dream to happen. So I'm communicating with many producers, but as you know, usually producers, they have their own writings that they want to
Mhm.
produce. So that's a big
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah. Well, it's good you're doing it, and you know, it's important to do your passion if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, and English is my second language, and this is also another challenge. And usually producers suggested me that I try first with my locals and then
Hmm.
try Hollywood or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the problem is that Cyprus is very small and we have low population. And for
Mm.
example, I talked with Julie Simon, and she told me in New York, for example, they have an agency which is only for background acting. We don't even have an agency for acting that much. So
Really?
yeah, that's the problem. So
Yeah.
I don't know how to deal with that. Maybe I should move to another country.
Maybe I don't know if you thought about that. Would you ever move?
Yeah, the thing is that I'm a university professor and I found a good job
Mm.
here and I'm happy with my job.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing as writing is my hobby or even this live show. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's why I don't know if I want to move because of that dream, whether
Hmm.
it will be wise. So I should wait more, I think, for that
Yeah.
to
Well,
happen.
the best part I think about COVID is, now we're doing everything remotely. So it's something where, I think there's more opportunities now. So even with you don't have to be in LA or New York. So I think that's gonna be good. So
Yes, that's true. And also, I found so many job requests and I mean, not for me, but some advertisement. So there were about remotely job, but unpaid. But
mhm.
we can consider it time to time so that we will have a resume. Why not?
Yes, definitely.
Have you ever done it, unpaid role for a movie or something?
Oh, for sure, definitely. That's most a lot of the stuff like there's a lot of unpaid stuff out here.
Yes, and
So
you know, during these live shows, I got introduced with many actors, and first I was keep asking me to participate in my short movie, but of course it was unpaid. But after a while, now I'm ashamed to ask them because it's not correct to do that. Because you guys, this is your job. This is not just your hobby. You are doing it professionally, so you
mhm.
deserve to be paid. So I'm
Yeah.
even ashamed to ask for that these days.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of like, even if you do like like short films or stuff that's for like students, it's always good to, because also you don't know, you could have like a um, networking, meet people. So it's nice to do that too. There's positive stuff about it as well.
Yeah, that's true. And what about your favorite comedy TV sitcoms or comedy movies? Do you have any favorite ones?
Yeah, I love Curb Your Enthusiasm with like Larry David. Have you watched that?
Yes, he's very funny.
Oh, that's
And he
so
has a unique sense of humor, which I love.
yes. I love that dry, like, I mean, that's like my favorite type of comedy.
I
So,
see. What about Young Sheldon or Big Bang Theory? What do you think about them?
you know what? I never watched it. I don't
Really?
know why. I couldn't get into
Oh my
it.
God.
No, but I do like, I mean, I think now too, there's like shows like Insecure on HBO. Have you watched that?
No, unfortunately not.
So it's just different. I think it's like situation, like that one's kind of cool because that one takes place in LA. So I can like kind of relate to it, but it's not going to be like Curb Your Enthusiasm where it's just like joke, 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 and that funny, but it's still like it's different. But I like that show. I mean, can't think of any right now. Huh? No, oh, Portlandia. Have you watched that?
No, unfortunately not. On which
So
channel?
good. I watched it on Netflix.
Okay,
So I
so
think
I
there's
can
like
watch it too. I have also Netflix, so I will give it
that's
a shot for sure.
yeah, that's good. And that's kind of like sketch comedy, kind of like very the same two characters in every scene as different people. So it's silly. I like really kind of outrageous comedy, like very silly stuff. So
I see. And what about comedy movies?
comedy movies. Well, I just watched on HBO, there's a new documentary called this is probably not funny, but it's that see, I also have very dark humor as well, but this isn't funny at all, but it was on HBO called Allen versus Pharaoh. It's a documentary, have you heard of it?
No, actually, I didn't. But now
So
that you mention
you
it,
know like Woody Allen?
yes, yes, sure.
Okay. So it's about the scandal of him like molesting his daughter, like all
Oh,
this.
so it's an old one.
No, it's a new documentary.
Oh,
But
documentary based on that, or something similar to Woody Allen. What do you mean?
well, it's about him and Mia Farrow.
Okay,
And
okay.
so there was all this stuff that happened back in the day where
Ah, I see. Now I remember. Yes, yes. Now I remember.
yeah,
I haven't watched it, but now I remember that I saw that.
it's good. But I'm just saying, because my favorite comedies growing up were like Annie Hall, which is Woody Allen. And I watched this documentary and I feel like I can't even watch the stuff anymore. So right now it's a weird place, but sorry, I just
So
watched it.
it seems to me that you got inspired by actors like Woody Allen and also the one from Curb Your Enthusiasm. What was his
Yes.
name? I forgot.
Larry David.
Yes, Larry David. Yes.
Yeah, I
So
just
it's
love
true.
like an awkward, very situational, like, because that's how I am in real life. Like, I actually have social anxiety when I'm out in public. I feel more comfortable on stage or one-on-one, but when I'm out in public, I get really uncomfortable. So when I watch that and his situations are like so small, but they're so big to him, I feel like I'm always going through that internally. So I love watching awkwardness.
I think that's exactly the same reason I can relate to that, because I'm not comfortable like in public that much. But when I'm, for example, teaching or have something for entertainment, then I'm confident in that part. But on stage,
Yeah.
but not in public. Maybe that's the same reason.
Definitely, I can see that.
And where people can find your projects or what you're doing these days, where you're active mostly.
I'm pretty active. Well, I've actually, when I said I took a hiatus, I was kind of like not on Instagram either. Or so getting back on, we'll be posting everything on like my Instagram. I think that's probably like the most you'll see my stuff promoting, like whether it's my podcast or a show or anything that I'm doing, I will always post on there. So that's my go-to.
Okay, that's great. And by the way, let's do something fun. We have a challenge on our page named Crazy Eyebrow. We try to pull one eyebrow up, one down. Can you do that? Okay. Just one of them.
I don't have both.
Both of them goes up.
I can't do it.
Yeah, for you, it definitely needs more practice.
Yes, definitely.
Both of them goes at the same time. But I introduced I got interview with some people that they couldn't even move their eyebrows. It was stuck there.
Well, that's the thing. You can't be asking that because a lot of people have Botox, so they can't move their face.
Exactly, yes. It was one of the movies.
You put us on the spot.
Yes, it was one of the movies of Adam Sandler. I think Just Go With It, if I'm not mistaken. And it was about exactly this, that they couldn't move their face. There were no face expression whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
So you're right. That's a good way actually to catch them, to know who had the surgery.
It's true. It's true.
That's a dangerous challenge.
More often than not.
I see. So, Lauren, it was wonderful talking with you. Would you like to add something?
No, I guess keep an eye open. I'm going to do Lorraine Lopez Loves podcast again, probably in the next month, and hopefully be doing more comedy now that, things are getting a little better out here.
So for sure you will share it on your Instagram as well, right?
Yes, I will.
Great. So for sure I will reshare it with my followers as well. So I also suggest everyone to take a look. I'm also looking forward to see what are the changes and what will happen in season 2.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you very much for joining me today. And I wish you luck also for your podcast and your future project, especially your writing. I'm also very looking forward to them.
Thank you so much. You too. Good luck with that.
Thank you very much, Lauren. See you. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you for your lovely comments. I couldn't catch them all, sorry about that, but I did my best. And mostly they send love to you around the world, what I observed. Awesome. Okay, Lauren, see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.